Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome once more to Nonfiction Radio this afternoon, and welcome to our program, Maximum Impact. It's my pleasure to have ladies and gentlemen in the house today who are actually going to be helping us talk about depression, which is the major thing we're going to talk about today. But before we start, I'm going to introduce our guests to you, and then we're going to start. By my right hand side, I have a beautiful lady, Dr. Diana. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
I also want to welcome officially Dr. Naomi. You're welcome to the show too.
Thank you.
And also, I want to welcome my brother also and co-host, Dr. Obi. You're welcome.
Thank you very much.
Okay, so usually we start with a short prayer. That's how we start. I mean, one of my vision here is to be able to make impact in the community based on some of the experience we have, and I try to balance it between from various perspectives of life. I bring people from the spiritual, physical, psychological, mental, sports, political, just to discuss relevant issues and relevant topics in the society. So today, I have friends that are in the mental health profession and who are also educationists also, who also have experience in this area. And so before we start, I'm going to ask Obi to just say a short prayer. Then we'll start.
Praise the Lord, everybody.
Amen.
Oh Lord, we just thank you today. We thank you for this opportunity in which we are on this air and we are touching a subject which is causing a various wildfire. It's a problem that is causing and creating such a panic that every day when we turn on the television, we see celebrities dying. And even when we don't turn on the television, we hear about people that are passing away due to this specific problem. And therefore, Lord, we ask you for the spirit of utterance that we may understand what's necessary to be done and how we are going to do it. We ask you to take position in this radio show, and may everything that we do today glorify your word through Jesus Christ our Lord.
Amen.
Amen.
Amen. So I'm going to give, first for one audience, I want to welcome you. And in case you're not tuned in, you can tune in to Nonfiction Radio. You can also watch us live on YouTube, Nonfiction Radio / Maximum Impact. And also you can watch live with Nonfiction Radio app. Also, you can listen to us live from any of these arenas. Now, today I have three wonderful people that are somehow linked that are going to be sharing with us today. I'm going to tell you the link later. So let me give you opportunity to talk about yourself, about the organization you represent, about yourself, what you do, how you're making impact in your community. Let's start from Diana.
Hi, my name is Diana. I'm from South New Jersey. In my community, I try to make an impact by, say that you're in a grocery store and you see someone struggling to pay for their groceries. I either give them the money or I pay for the groceries, for all of their groceries, basically. I also try in the wintertime to go out and get people in the homeless shelter. If they don't go, I give them blankets, gloves, scarves, hot chocolate. And I'm going to start handing out Wawa gift cards in the winter for people to be able to get food and drinks if needed. And I also was volunteering for CASA, which is a court-appointed support advocate group. And what it is the voice for children that need it. And I since stopped doing that because of school, but I'm still having a lot of activities that I'd like to get involved with.
Wow, that's powerful. And you're doing this alone on your own. That's great.
Yes, and every Christmas I pay for 2 people's layaways.
Wow.
Yes.
That's awesome. That's amazing. Thank you so much for the great work you do in the community. And I pray God will bless you more for that. So you can do more. So let's listen to you, Naomi. Tell us more about yourself and what you represent.
All right. My name's Naomi. Thanks for letting me come today. Some of the things that I do in my community, I seem to be the go-to person that everybody wants to talk to. I guess I'm very approachable.
Yes. Because
So-
you look innocent
Oh, well, thank you.
and harmless.
Yeah. So I talk to a lot of people, especially those that I work with. Even customers that I deal with every day. They find out what you're doing, and they're like, "Oh, well, let me tell you this story. What do you think?" So, I strive every day to put a smile on everybody's face. And some things that I've recently done. Just this past week, I helped with feeding the homeless in my community, and with a church that I have gone to in the past, and they do it the first Monday of every month. But there's activities there throughout the entire month with other churches and other community members. So I really enjoyed that, and I want to start doing more of those kind of things. In my past, I've always tried to, like the Hurricane Katrina, Hurricane Sandy, I've helped with the fundraisers and raising tractor and trailer loads of things to help out those individuals.
Oh, sorry. You got to speak into the microphone because your voice is kind of...
It's not carrying. There we go.
Okay.
Got to be closer.
Phone call.
Okay. I think somebody's calling. Let's find out who's calling. Hello? 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 Okay, I think we lost the call. Sometimes people call in just to participate in the conversation and get to know us more. So now, the good news, the coincidence. Last week Saturday, we started a feeding program here. So,
nice.
At the church here. So we want to feed 50 people, and we get some food and stuff, set it up, and our first fear was like, how are we going to get people to come and eat the food? Because one thing is to make food for people, and another thing is for them to come. That was the first time we were doing it. I was very successful because by the time we came to the studio here and we have finished, came over there, the food was gone. A lot of people came in, walked in, and it's so fulfilling. My wife was part of it, and she came back, she felt so happy. I haven't seen her feel that happy in a time. When your wife starts sending you a text message and you're in the house with her, that means she's very happy. She sent me a text message appreciating me for, the thought that we got to feed people. It was very, very humbling. So I'm glad you were part of that.
It was very, it's a humbling experience, and I definitely am going to be doing more of that soon.
Yeah. So we'll be doing our own once a month, first Saturday of the month. And another good part of it, my daughter, we involved her, my daughter, and when she was 4 years old, we took her to the train station to feed people. And
The reading glasses.
Okay.
Impacts are every day. I try to impact kids, try to impact the job, try to impact the family. So it's a really my maximum impact is going down to the nucleus, as I continue to say each week. Is to start at the beginning, which is the family, because the family is the nucleus of every society. So it's more about trying to figure out how you can impact family members, friends' lives in a way in which you can see that result in their daily lives, and they can take it to another person, and that person can take it to another person, and before you know what's happening, we have a movement, and I work with this organization, SGM, which I'm one of the leaders, and every day it's my responsibility to send out the messages to people to join prayers, to join up to various activities, to let people be aware. And when you come on the prayer line, or when you come to these activities and you see various people, like last night, the people which we invited that have their lives changed, and you get testimonies of their lives, these are impacts that are very indelible, on your heart, and it gives you the sense of knowledge to continue to strive on and for higher places, as each and every one of you feeding people and everything, it's our impacts are very, very important. And I just encourage myself and yourself to let's continue.
Wow.
Yeah.
So it is great to have these wonderful ladies and gentlemen in the studio today. So let me tell you guys the link between all of you. Everyone here is Walden.
Yes.
Yes. So this is Walden. This is Walden studio today. So yeah, before we started back studio, I was letting them know that Obi is Walden also, but he's like. I think you defended your dissertation already, right?
Yeah, it's like the proposal.
So
it's I'm just collecting data.
I know, collecting data. So I hope we will not be part of the data you're collecting.
I don't know. I can't tell you that, but I'm being biased if I tell you.
No, don't. You don't have to do blind. You have to know if you're using us for
can't
data.
tell you that. I'll let you know later.
That's part of the. That's part of the ethical practice. We have to know that we are part of statistics. Anyway, so all of us are Walden, and it's a pleasure having all of us here today. So a wonderful topic we're going to talk about today is about depression. So we'll talk about depression, clinical. So we're going to have the phone line open. If you want to be part of the conversation, you want to call in, you can call 973-672-0317. You can call in and participate in the conversation. But thank God I have two ladies who are actually in the mental health profession. They're actually doctoral students in Walden in clinical psychology. So we're talking about depression today. And I found that depression could be viewed from various angles. It could be viewed from a cultural aspect, from the social withdrawal, from clinical, So, but I'm going to give you guys like time to talk about depression from whatever angle you want to approach it. And at the end, we're going to come back to the reality of depression in our generation, in today's world, in the environment, in the society, and how we can bring help, how we can bring hope, how we can bring make an impact or social change. How we can make social change in the life of people. So, Diana, I think you're close to my right-hand side, so you're my right-hand lady. So, so let me start with you, or anybody can actually delve in. So let's talk about depression. Why talk about depression? I mean, and what is it?
Depression.
And please speak closer to the microphone so that people can.
Depression is such. There's such a stigma attached to depression. I know with everything that's going on in the world, everyone's starting to open their eyes that it is a problem that needs to be addressed. As far as Anthony Bourdain, Kate Spade, Robin Williams, to name a few, people look at people. And it's sad to say, but they feel that this person, that there's nothing wrong in their world because they have money or they live in a big house or drive a certain car. What people need to understand is depression is internal. You don't always look like you're depressed, but you feel it every day. People really need to reach out to people that, hear them say like, I'm really depressed, or start crying for no reason, or start to tell them negative things constantly. You have to start to look at that friend or that family member and realize that something is seriously going on. And as I said, with the stigma, so many people are afraid to go get help.
Yeah, so nobody comes and tells you, hello, I'm depressed.
I don't think nobody can
Right.
tell you they're depressed, because the person has to know they're depressed.
That's
And that's true.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Some people
So-
feel like it's normal.
It's a norm.
To feel that way. And it's sad to say, but a lot of times, especially as professionals now, you can maybe see a friend or family member that's
Right.
struggling and maybe strike up a conversation that could give them like their wow moment. They're like, oh, wow, something really is wrong.
Sure.
But so many people are afraid to have like that stigma attached to them. Like they feel if they go for help that they're going to be looked at like they're crazy, or if they're on medicine that people
They're
feel that that's
retarded.
weak, or, it's sad, but it's okay. I'm going to open up a little bit. I was depressed a couple years ago. I felt like, why am I here? I was very upset, and I was very sick. The doctors couldn't figure out what was going on. The one doctor told me, oh, you're crazy, nothing's wrong, just take this medicine, you'll feel better. And that's not always the case, you know? And once I figured out what my diagnosis was, I came out of my depression. And it kind of was like, you know, you get to see, like, wow, life is really beautiful. And I just wish more people would just realize that life is so beautiful.
So I'm going to come back to you, Diana, because thank God we have someone in the studio who says, I was depressed. So I'm going to come back to you to know what it feels like, depression.
Yes.
But before that, let's hear from Naomi. So what's your take about depression generally? I mean, and what's your take?
I have the same feelings with Diana. It is internally. It's not always visual. It's not every psychological diagnosis isn't always visible. You don't see those symptoms, and you yourself don't always recognize those symptoms either. And I can share, I was actually depressed and diagnosed with depression about 10 years ago, just with different life events that had happened. And you know, you go to a doctor and you tell the doctor that you are constantly worrying about everything. You don't know what's happening. You are having panic attacks. So I had panic and anxiety on top of my depression. So I myself could not figure out what.
I don't know why I don't like people saying things like my depression, my headache, my anxiety. Sometimes I feel somehow like I don't like the idea of. I feel somehow like when you personalize or own stuff like that, but it's okay.
Well, to me, I say my depression because
It's your story.
I was owning it.
Yes.
Like,
Yeah.
I own that. I recognize it now. Like, back, I guess, maybe 10 years ago, I wouldn't have said that. But now I can because it was mine. I owned it, and I dealt with it, and I'm over it.
Wow.
You know, it's not me. It's not who I am. I have a completely different outlook on life.
So is the depression not really my depression?
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
But to me, I think when we're dealing with it socially, that words are powerful. They're in our mind, they come out our mouths, and they have repercussions, consequences that nobody will necessarily
Understand.
think about to what you're saying to that other person. So, you have to think about how you deal with everything, your reactions and behaviors to other people's reactions and behaviors. So, the idea of the power of positivity in life, and feeding into the negativity. It's just like, social media and the negativity, and then the people sharing this and the other people sharing that. And, you don't know what you're sharing is doing to that other person, and people don't necessarily think about that. And, it's that power of positivity that you have to feed into, not the power of negativity. And you don't see depression on a physical plane.
Wow.
Right.
So let me ask this question now. So what causes depression? So
Well, depression, like I suffered depression last year, as I continue saying, it took a lot to come into that realization that you are depressed,
It does.
because
I agree.
you have to, because of the way the world is, it is very hard to identify yourself as feeling something different, because when you come out, you're wearing a mask of many, like you're wearing a coat or a mask of many colors. Like when you come out, you'll smile to everybody, but when you go home, it's just like a blanket of darkness just supersedes
Absolutely.
who
Yes.
you are, and you fall into this. It's like a pit, and the mind is a tool that is crazy, and it just, you're trying to claw out and you wake up in the morning, then it's you're another person, you got these personalities, and I don't know, I can't really say what really causes, but my cause of depression was that I experienced the loss of my parents, and that does, I think the trauma that my mother was depressed because she suffered from cancer. Then I was depressed because she died in a very traumatic way, and I wasn't. You know, it just it was a snowball. You know, it was a snowball of things. So I think it just came as like a blow, and by the time the burial was over and everybody dispersed, I was by myself, and I was like looking at myself and like, you know, what's wrong with me? Like,
Right.
you know, why am I crying in the night? You know, like nobody knows. I'm like, am I weird? Am I crazy? Like, do I need, you know? But along the line, you know, I had to find help. You know, and I think the greatest thing is for you to catch yourself and like own it. I am depressed. I think that is the greatest thing that you can ever, the step that you can ever stand on. That I'm depressed. Because once you stand on that step, I think the battle is conquered.
Wow.
Absolutely.
So apparently, the first symptom of depression is denial
Yes.
or
Yes.
ignorance of depression.
I don't think it's ignorance, because you can't be ignorant to something you do not know. Because there's no textbook about what depression is. Like, how you suffered it is totally different from how I suffered it.
Correct.
You know, how you identified yours is going to be totally different from. So, are we ignorant?
Yeah, so it's
Right.
ignorance too, because
Exactly.
you don't know what you are experiencing.
I wouldn't use the term ignorance.
Okay, but
Now,
denial
I know
is okay,
myself,
right? Okay.
It was basically, it was a feeling that I've never experienced before.
So
It
let's
was
talk about
like
the feeling
you said,
now.
crying.
So let's talk about the feeling. What is depression? How does it manifest? So let's-
Depression, it manifests is from things that you go through, like your parents' death, you were saying, an illness, you know, a breakup, you know, things that occur in your life that you don't know how to handle.
we're talking about things that cause depression now. So let's talk about depression, what it is. What is it? How does it manifest? Let's talk about that.
Depression are just feelings like you can't face
Okay.
or understand what you're going through in your life, that you start to close off from people.
Okay.
You
So
stay away from people.
withdrawal.
You withdraw
Withdrawal, yeah.
from everybody.
Okay.
You know, and it's hard to explain, but no one's going to experience it the same way. I can only go by myself. I was
Okay.
crying. I was sick. No one could figure out what was going on, and I just felt like, why am I here?
Wow. Okay. So there's that withdrawal, loneliness. Why am I here? Which is confusion.
Crying
Crying,
without reason.
yeah.
You just start crying.
Right.
Irrational thoughts are
Yes.
all involved in that too.
Correct.
Okay. Okay.
Like the National Health Institute defines it as it defines
So
depression.
that's how you know a doctor resident. So that's what she. Go ahead.
Depression, according to the National Health Institute, it defines it as a common but serious mood disorder.
Mood disorder.
You know, it's a mood disorder that we're moody. You know, but the funny thing is that, do we know everybody has moods?
Yes.
And that's the crazy thing about depression. Everybody's moody.
Yes.
So that's why.
I can remember when I used to work in New York. I used to walk into, at 6:30 in the morning, going to Wall Street, and good morning. You know, like you're happy. Good morning. Somebody turned to me and said, "What is good about this morning?" Hey, it's good. Everybody's moody. You know, or you sit you're on the train, and somebody takes three seats, and you're like looking at the person, seriously? And you're telling shift. The person goes, dude, you got 3 seats and 2 are empty. You know? So it's hard to identify depression because it's moody, and everybody has moods.
Yeah.
You know. So it's a crazy thing.
So that's why I think in DSM criteria, it has to go over a period of time for it to be diagnosed as a clinical depression. I mean, and there are various types of it. I mean, there's a major depressive disorder, and there's a recurrent one. There's one-time episode. I mean, so there are various. I don't want to go to the clinical part of it now, but you're right as per. Depression has to do with mood, is a mood disorder, and that causes withdrawal, isolation, tears, confusion, and irrational thoughts. So which is where I want us to go back right now, the irrationality of it. And you said something initially. So when does depression become harmful At what stage? I mean, so let's
I think it became harmful for me when I started pushing my husband and my close friends and my family away, but I didn't realize I was doing that.
Oh.
Like, I kind of felt like if I stay in my room and I stay away from them, they won't give me the pity look, they won't, worry. Like, I didn't want to burden anyone, and that's the scary thing about, depression and things, that they feel like they're a burden. And I can understand it because I felt that way. I felt like I was a burden to my family, husband, and friends because they would ask me what was wrong, and honestly, I couldn't answer. I just knew that I wasn't happy. I wasn't happy with the way I looked, the way that I felt. I didn't want to eat. I didn't want to go out of my room. That was like my sanctuary.
So you knew something was wrong, but you don't know what was wrong.
No, I did not know what was wrong until my husband brought it to my attention and said, you've been in this room for quite a while and we're going out. And I was mad. I didn't want to go out. I didn't want to face people because I knew that, they were going to look at me a certain way or judge me. And that's a hard reality, because self-esteem plays a major role. And I'm not saying you have to be a certain size or anything to that effect, but if you feel within yourself that you don't look good or feel good, I'm not the type to fake it and go out and smile and yippee skippy with everybody. I'm real. And I'm just miserable. The whole time I was out, I was miserable. But I thanked him that he pulled me out of that room, because that was the day that I realized that not only is my depression hurting my family and my husband, it
was hurting you too.
It was hurting myself, but hit them more. So that was my wake-up call. I don't want to hurt anyone else because the way I feel.
So from what Diana is saying, now, depression from her own perspective has to do with withdrawal, and then there's that feeling of lost that was obvious. So for everyone, does it mean the same thing, or are there also some other extreme whereby even though someone is feeling depressed, but they come out and laugh and jump up and down and make people feel like all is well, but then they go back home. They are depressed.
Yeah, that's what I was saying to you. That's what I was saying to you earlier. Depression is a masquerade. It has many faces. I can come out now. Think about these two people that just died this week.
Yes.
We would think that these people were happy. He would. The chef was he was doing fantastic programs. He looked personally well. But only God knows, as I said to you, only God knows that when you close that door, it's just like you and yourself and your God. And it is a crazy thing. I have a spin on it. I said that when the devil wants you, he singles you out. The first thing he does, he takes you away from your pack. And that's what depression does.
Absolutely.
It pulls you away from your pack. So you're by yourself, because when you're by yourself, you're the most harmful person that you can ever be. And that's how I looked at it. And that's when I started shouting at my boys. I know I snap, but snap 0 to 100 in 2 seconds?
Yeah.
Nah, that was harmful. Then I knew there was something wrong. And and the more isolated you get, the more crazy you come, the more devices and vices you use to do things. And I think it's very hard to express to somebody who hasn't experienced it, because it's not textbook.
No.
It's beyond theories and mental expressions or formulas or equations. These are personal experiences that relate to who we are personally, and it's very, very important that people should understand that we're not crazy, we're not stupid, we are intelligent people, but there is a period of time that grief is experienced by oneself, and as much as we tend to be alone, do not leave us alone, because if you leave us alone,
So what will happen is we're going to go on a little break, 5 minutes break, and he hinted something about Anthony Bourdain and some of the things that happened this week. I was actually busy yesterday. I didn't have time to listen to radio or TV, but my daughter, 6 years old, when I came back, she told me, "Daddy, someone died today?" And I said, "What killed him?" He said he was feeling empty inside. I said, how do you know? He said, I watched I listened to the news. So I didn't know about that. So when we come back from the break, we're going to talk about at what stage does depression get to that someone thinks about suicide? What was the connection? And then after talking about that, we're going to talk about how can we cut off that connection? That means how can we give help before depression? Because sometimes I don't think we can prevent depression. Maybe we can't. Maybe depression just happens because of what we couldn't control around us. But how can we stop it from getting to the extent that someone either kills someone or kills themselves? How do we do that? So we're going to talk about that, and then we're going to be able to, we're going to open the phone line when we come back, 973-672-0317. You can call and participate in the conversation. And then we're going to talk about the reality of depression and how harmful it is in our society today, and then any way we can bring help. So once more, I want to thank these beautiful ladies, Dana and Naomi, and this handsome young man.
Always.
So we're gonna go on break, and then when we come back, we'll continue the conversation. It's my pleasure having you guys, and it's very wonderful conversation. Thank you, and God bless you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Let the living shout hallelujah. Let the blessed of God, the chosen generation, the favored of God, redeemed by the blood of the Lamb, join me as we bless the name of God this day. Amen. Adonai,
my provider,
Jehovah Nissi,
you are my help,
Shalom,
you are my peace.
Jehovah Shammah,
I know you are here.
you are here to bless me. Oh, you are here to bless me. You are here to answer me. Even before I call, you answer 7 times. You are here to fill my cup to overflowing. You are here to anoint me to do exploits. When we gather in your name. In your presence, there's fullness of joy. When you come, your people are set free. We here rejoice because you are here. Adonai, my provider, Jehovah Nissi, you are my help. Shalom, you are my peace. Jehovah Shammah, I know you are here. Adonai,
My provider,
Jehovah Nissi,
you are my help,
oh, Shalom,
you are my peace.
Jehovah Shammah, you are here to bless me. Oh, you are here to bless me. You are here to hear my cry. You are here to save me. We say welcome, oh welcome. You are here to save our souls, to heal the sick, to cleanse your people, to enrich the poor. You are here to heal our land. Open doors and bless your people. We rejoice in your presence, for we know you are here. Adonai, my provider, Jehovah Nissi, you are my help. Shalom, you are my peace. Jehovah Shammah, I know you are here. Adonai,
My provider,
oh, Jehovah Nissi,
you are my
Shalom,
you are my peace.
I mean Jehovah Shammah, you are here to bless me. Oh, you are here to anoint me. You are here to refresh me. You are here to revive your work. I know you are here to do something new in somebody's life. You are here to promote someone. You are here to bless someone. You are here to do exploits. You are here do something wonderful. Oh, yeah. Hey, you are here to bless me. Oh. You bless all that concerns my life. Because you are the ancient of days. If you are for me, nobody can be against me. When you open the door, nobody can shut the door. Hallelujah. It's time to bless the name of the Lord for his goodness and mercy unto his children. You washed away my sin, you taken away my sorrow. Oh, glory to your name. I will sing my praise to you. I will sing my praise to you. I will sing my praise to you. Every morning, day and night, I will sing my praise to you. There's no one else that deserves these praises of the Lord. My bread, you got my tea. Even when no friends are gone, you still got my back. You've been so faithful to me. You fulfilled your promises. The least I can give is to give you my praises. I think of what you've done. This one the works of the room. It's giving me victory. I put a new song in my mouth. There's nothing best to do but to use our time to sing praise. You're so good unto me. I'm a sample of your love. You washed away my sins. You've taken away my sorrows. Oh, glory to your name. I will sing my praise to you. Hey, hey. I will sing my praise to you. Oh, King of glory. I will sing my praise to you. The Lord is good. Greatly to be praised. In the blessing that praises. Even no kumawo puta, ubere mawundi abawoso. You're the greater parliament, all these lesser ones to bow. Ezi chuku, agribai. Even no kuchuku, udogwa kataka. You washed away my sins, you've taken away my sorrows. Oh, glory to your name. I will sing my praise to you. Hey, hey. I will sing my praise to you. Oh, I will sing my praise to you. You're the King of kings and the Lord of lords. You dwell in the heavens. That is your footstool. Oh, bless the Lord. Oh, my soul. And don't forget his faithfulness. You will forgive my sins and heal my diseases. If I had my battle, he's been so good unto me. The name of the Lord is a great tower. The righteous one inside it, and they are safe forever. Ọmalịcha Chineke mụ, onye na-eme ụzọ ebe ụzọ na-adịghị, onye na-egbu ụkpaka egbuo, apata na-eku nwanyị, ịbụ ara na-azụ ụmụ, o kwere nkwa mee ya okwu onye ire onye ọsọ
God is good. God is good. Oh. He's worthy to be praised. He's worthy to be honored. He gives his sunshine to all, his blessings to all. He never discriminates when he blesses his people. So we give him all the praise. We give him all the honor. We give him all the worship. For he's worthy of our praise. Can you see ya, mama? Oh, can you see ya, mama? Onyo bio mamo, oma kasi bio wama. Onye mara ne hemda mo, ebu chimaro bima, chimaro bima. Can you see ya, mama? Mama leja chinenye mikea o. Ibu chomama, chinagozi mwoma. Onye nedu mi jenuai, chituwere mugoma o. When I wake this morning, I lifted my hands in deep adoration to this King of glory. He who made me who I am is mindful of me. He thinks for me and brings it to pass. You are worthy of our honor. You're worthy of our worship. You're worthy of our glory. For you're worthy of my praise. Can you see your mama? Oh, she does him. Ibu ike kemu. Onye goziri ya chimere mebere udo gị nọ na ndụ m ịbụ onyinye ọma m nwere n'ụwa onye na-eleta ụmụ ya onye na-echere m echiche ọma ịbụ chi mara obi m ịbụ obi n'ime Zayọn onye na-agwọ ndị ọrịa ịba mgbakwuru ezuru ike chi mara obi m. When we get to heaven, we will see Jesus, the 24 elders, and the 4 living creatures as they bow down to praise. In deep submission to the King of glory, the ancient of days, the great I am that I am. Alpha and Omega, you are worthy of our praises. Worthy of all honor, and you say I'm sorry. Nsaka Chineke mudi, nsaka Jehova mudi. Onye igwe n'ụwa na-akpọrọ isi ala nye. Ana m akpụkpụrụ gị okwu ma Papa izuru ka emeghe. Gị bụ agbanwe ma. Onye mbụ n'ikpeazụ, onye na-ebi n'otuto ndị ya. Odege jigijigi ka ịbụ, ọ dịghị onye yiri ọma ọkachi, ọ dịghị onye ji na-atụnyere gị ya. Papa kwizuru ka eme, anyanwụ ụtụtụ. Divinity of heaven descends here on earth. We in one accord to worship your majesty. We'll lift you high, oh God. For when we lift you high, you draw souls to yourself. You are higher than the highest. Thank you, Jesus. Let's lift him high, everybody. Anyị bule ya. Ụmụ Chineke bule ya. Eze m kachasị elu. Ka anyị bule ya. Elu 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 elu. Ịdị elu. Ngwanụ ka anyị si ya mama. Agbakwuru ezuru ike mụ. Chi mara obi m. Mama na papa, ụmụnne m, ụmụ ọma m ka ya si ya mama o. N'ọlọ m soro m si ya mama.
Come on, backstage. I think Noami is doing that maximum impact. She's making everybody laugh backstage. So, so that was a good job. And those of you watching, you can actually answer this quiz between Noami, Diana, and me. Who is more quiet? Yeah, I think it's me. Like, right? I look more innocent.
No.
Obi, you want to answer that question?
No.
And it's not part of our discussion today. So we are back to the studio, and it's my pleasure having you guys online. And we're talking about depression today. We're talking about depression, and so I think we have a little time to talk about it. Now the phone lines are open 973-672-0317, and so we're talking about solution, and we're talking about the immediate danger of depression in the society, and when does depression click to suicide and self-harm? And how can we cut the bridge? How can we do that? So who wants to delve into the question first?
I kind of have some thoughts on that. It goes to like when you become depressed, or even if you don't even recognize that you're depressed yet, you're having these thoughts that if they constantly are running through your head like a broken record sometimes. Like it was for me, I had a lot of constant worrying. What if? And I've come to learn that those are two powerful words, and with endless amounts of possibilities attached to them. So these thoughts and these endless possibilities are going through your head. And for me, that was my problem. And I never had suicidal thoughts or tendencies attached with being depression. But I think for some people, and it may not necessarily be everybody, but when you start having those what if thoughts that are surrounded with maybe your experiences or your things that you're going through, that at somewhere in that point, those thoughts also become part of the what ifs. So maybe somewhere in there. But and it can also be immediate. It can be those, what if I'm not here tomorrow? What would everybody do? Just those little quiet thoughts like that.
So do you imagine depression to be like having a bottle, and then those thoughts, those emptiness, those worries, fears getting there, and then nobody's doing anything about it until it gets full and then spills out, and that's where maybe suicide comes in, like because it's been stored for a long time, bottled, like, and the bottle couldn't contain it, and then it spills out. Do you imagine it that way?
That they're not able to handle it?
Yeah,
mean,
because
like it
because you've
overflows?
been pouring it, getting the depressive thoughts has been bottled for a long time, and gets to the peak of it that the individual couldn't handle it again. Then it spills out like, wow, there was a suicide. And
I think, like Naomi was saying, that a lot of people experience irrational thoughts, like the what ifs. I can't. They think more like life would be better without them.
hold on, I think there's a phone call. Hold on. Hello.
Hello, this is Professor Kenneth Jones. How are you?
Oh, Kenneth Jones, how are you?
I'm doing well.
Please, can we have the volume on this? Yeah, Ken, we're in the studio. I'm here with Diane, and I'm here with Naomi, and another Dr. Obi. And all of us are Walden, actually. So, and we're here talking about depression. And you know what just happened yesterday? I mean, this week, about 2 people have killed themselves because of depression. So we are thinking about how real is depression, and is there any how we can cut off the link between depression and suicide? Do you have any thoughts?
I do. I will say that depression is real, and I think the reason that it's going undetected is because we're not opening our eyes as a society. And
Please, can we have more volume, engineer, please? Yeah, go ahead, Kenneth.
Yeah, I feel we need to take the stigma out of mental health care. And once we can remove that stigma as a society, then people will get more health care, mental health care, you know, and start to level out. Well, not level out, we'll start alleviating it, or at least, or even eliminating depression, which leads to suicide. But we have to take the stigma out of mental health care. We have to let people know it is okay to go and sit down and talk to a therapist and get mental health service.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. So Ken is talking about the need to educate the audience and the need to look for health care or look for help on time. And but look at the truth now. Some of the people that are actually the victims of what we're talking about now are not like people that can afford help. They can pay therapists. So if they can afford that, so how come they're not taking that help? So, meanwhile, thank you, Kenneth, for your contribution. We appreciate it, and we hope you listen to us. You can actually watch us live. We're on YouTube live. Just go to YouTube live, Nonfiction Radio /Maximum Impact. You're going to see us. We're live, and you can participate more in the conversation. Thank you so much,
Thank
for
you.
coming.
You're welcome.
Bye, Ken.
Thank you.
Bye. Yeah.
Bye.
Yeah.
Jonathan Templer said something in one of his psychology journals. He says that there are 6 stages in depression. He says loneliness, he says anxiety. He comes across as saying that there's a death of loneliness, the death dread, you know, and he says that there's the death despair, and he says that there's the death of finality, and there's the death of sadness, you know. And when you really think about all these 6 factors that he's brought into this his expression of depression, you know, I think it's the phase. You go through different phases of them during your time. I think you understand. Like you go through that death, you go through that phase of I just want to be alone. I just don't want to hear the noise.
Yeah.
You know, the noise is, please, can you just all keep quiet? I just don't want to hear that noise. And you know, and you know, from that loneliness, you graduate into the other phase until you get to the final phase of despair. You know, and do we have the money? Yes, but I think it's way beyond money, because we're in a society of today that nobody really has time for anybody, you know. Or we're in a society in which if you drop dead on the street, the first thing people would do is pick up their phone and start filming you instead of calling for help.
Correct.
You know?
Yeah.
So we're in a very selfish time in which, as much as everybody's crying, oh, he never reached out to me, but do we really have time? Because if we truly are our brother's keepers, we would be observant. Like if somebody says, you didn't call me today, you didn't call me yesterday, oh, I just thought it was the norm. But what's about going to the person's house to check if the person's there? You know what I'm saying?
But do not we're in America, everybody, even husband and wife, even to sometimes people are working in the morning, night,
But that's
afternoon.
that's the point, that we have become so busy that we are not attentive. So even if I was depressed, you could be living in the house with your, like as she said, she was in the house with her husband, and they're 2 ships sailing divergent in the night. No, it's.
Hold on, I think there's a call coming in. Hello. Hello. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
Who is online, sir, please?
This is Pastor Jide Lawore.
Oh, this is my spiritual father on the line, Pastor Jide. He's actually my mentor also, and so you guys know I'm a pastor too, right? So this is actually my mentor. So we have online, we have in the studio some of our doctorate students, Dr. Diana, Dr. Noami, and Dr. Obi, who's already out of the whole business. So we are talking about depression, and somehow I went to his Facebook online yesterday, his Facebook page. So he wrote something about depression. It was so powerful, and I had to test him. I said, Daddy, please, can you call in today and educate us more about, and he mentioned about even the Anthony Bourdain that we'll be talking about today. So Daddy, what at this stage we're talking about, so when does depression get to suicide, and how can we cut off that bridge? Because sometimes people cannot stop getting depressed, but how can they get off it before it gets so suicidal? Daddy, please, we need your input.
All right, good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, I mean, it's a joy to join you in the discussion. I think I'm sure everybody's heart is broken. I think one thing people need to know first is this is a very, very common thing. I think statistics shows that about one person every 40 seconds takes their life.
Wow.
I think in America it's actually number 10 in the cause of death.
That's serious.
I think there's a lot of focus now because we have celebrities, right? But every 40 seconds, someone is taking their own life. Someone loses hope. Someone somehow believes there's no more hope in life. It can no longer continue. I think one of the biggest issues is people fail to understand that emotional pain is actually a much more serious pain than physical pain. All right? And also because it is easier to detect emotional pain, physical pain. It is easier for outsiders, people around you, to see when you're in pain, if you break your leg, if you fall, if you're suffering, the physical pain. I think people come to your rescue very easily. People are there to aid you. People are there to comfort you. If you're unable to climb the step, for example, you go to a place, you're trying to climb the step, and you find it very difficult to climb, right? People notice that, and they come to your aid. Unfortunately, when people are suffering from emotional pain, other people are not aware, all right?
Yes, sir.
And if most times they even add to your pain, all right?
Yes,
they
sir.
just tell you, why don't you get up? Why don't you do this? Why are you doing that? They add to the pain because they are not able to detect emotional pain. Most people are not wired or trained to detect that. So I think people who are going through pain, I think the first thing they need to do is really to try to find people around them who understand the plight of people going through emotional pain. Because a lot of people who go through emotional pain, unfortunately, because they come across people who don't understand it, now they go into isolation, right?
Yes.
And isolation compounds their problem. And after a while, people who go through emotional pain, they are not able to make rational decisions anymore, and they can go to the point of taking their life.
Yeah. Dad, I think you're making a very powerful, contribution, and it's just somehow that we don't have you live on studio. I'm going to be able to talk to you later so that we can have you talk about this more from the studio, because depression is real, and it's important we're hearing from a pastor, because some of these people go to church. He brought up an issue. You need to talk to someone that will understand you, that will not judge you. There's a practical example that we learned in one of our residencies. This lady is a member of a church, but because she's depressed, she can't take Holy Communion. She felt judged as she's committing sin, because she's in a place where people don't understand the reality, like someone is having headache or stomach ache, or having that is as real as mental health issue, and not a sin that the person should be judged about. So it's lack of this experience and understanding of mental health that is withholding people from talking to someone.
Yeah, you're very right. You're very right. So I think Yeah, I think we need to really learn how to
Talk more about it, yes. So thank you, sir, for coming to the studio. We appreciate you listening to us, and we will call you more to come someday and help us from a spiritual angle, and also pray for us from this studio. Once more, thank you. Come and say hi to my. Thank you, Pastor, for calling me.
Thank you, everyone. God bless you.
God bless you,
Bye.
sir. Bye. So let's continue the discussion, because he brought a very powerful topic. Like, you need to talk to someone, but what if you talk to someone that they won't understand you? I mean, so
I think like we three can relate, because we've gone through that process, you know, and at some point each and every one of them can understand my pain, and I can understand their pain, because we have gone through that. But because of this, as I said, because of the society that we're in, we're in a society in which to show that kind of vulnerability is a problem. You know, it shows weakness, or it shows that it's not cool. You know, to
It's
be.
that stigma.
You know, that's a stigma.
Shame.
It's a shame to be. But you know, we only hear about celebrities that kill themselves because they're celebrities. What about people that are on television, that are not on television? I watch ID Go, and like, it's a murder channel. It's crazy, but it's a murder channel. But the number of people that either their kids have got lost, or somebody died, and they go through these things, it's crazy, you know. And so if you take celebrities as a percentage, then you now look at the number of people that we know, that we don't know, that your friend, you know, it's, as he said, the figures are matching up. It's something that, as much as we use social media to post our pictures and our what we're doing or where we are, we should use it to promote this epidemic, because it is slowly killing. And the worst part, it has started to enter kids. It is not an adult thing. It goes to primary schools, when kids now pick up guns because they've been picked on and start killing
The bullies.
people.
Yes. I follow on Instagram. It's called Bullies Reality, and it always has on there, like, it shows how many kids commit suicide because of bullying, and, you know, things that happen. And like you said, they're not celebrities. And that's what I love about Bullies Reality, because you get to follow real people and see that this is seriously a problem. It doesn't just happen to one type of person or the other. It's everybody.
And I
It's an
think
epidemic.
and I think what he's talking about is, for the fact that they're not celebrities, nobody may even caption it, but
Right.
is real. Is real. And so how can we, as mental health professionals, where do we come in?
I think, like I said, we just need to strike up that conversation. Maybe you have a friend who's crying, broke up with someone, got a divorce, is depressed, and just strike up the conversation. Are you okay? Is there anything I can do for you? Maybe let them know, like, if you had that same experience, like, wow, I was feeling this way and I'm just concerned. Let them know that it's okay to be broken. It's okay to cry. It's okay to ask for help. It's okay to take medicine if that's what you need. It's okay to be different. And that's, I think, the key. If people can understand that you're different, I think more people can reach out and help people, instead of just pushing it aside and saying, oh, she's depressed, I'll call her tomorrow. No, don't call her tomorrow. Call her tonight.
Yeah, and when I was at work as a case manager and a psychiatric rehab counselor, my clients and everybody on my caseload knew that my phone was open during the day. If you could not reach me, please leave me a voicemail. I will definitely call you back, or I will see that your number, and if you didn't leave me a voicemail, I'm going to call you back anyway. And also, when I had my office door, it was always open. Come see me. Let's talk. And I always let them know that whatever emotion that they're feeling, including anger, is an okay emotion. It's okay to feel that. It's, the behaviors and stuff after the emotion.
I think Norman mentioned something very powerful and dramatic. I mean, very real. So it's okay to feel your feelings.
It is.
Because the problem is when you start denying, and then you're like, So people are going to find out that I'm depressed, that this happened to me. They can't find out. Let them find out behind me.
Right.
So because you don't understand that it's okay to feel your feelings.
That's as we said. It's the facade that we promote in this society. Nobody's true. You know, BT says, British Telecom says it's good to talk. There's a reason why it's good to talk. You know, to talk because when you talk, you release chemicals inside you. You know that relaxes your body. You know but at the same time you can't really. The flip side to that is that how many people are genuine listeners?
Yes.
That's
That's the key.
And that's the key. And because I could cry to you, but the key is that you're just going to use it to promote your ego or whatever you want to do with it, and to my detriment. So I now spiral from being maybe on the borderline of depression into a full-blown depression, and which I now kill myself.
And that's the difference between what we call advising and counseling. You know, back in Africa, we have counselors. But what they do is actually advising. So let's say you have a problem with your husband and or with your child, and you come back and you talk to the advisor, and you're like, why did you do this? Why didn't you do this? You should have done this. So the person keep on telling you why. And remember, the more you use the word why, the more the person gets defensive and get very aggressive, or even very offended. So, and that's different from the real counselor, who is actually a listener,
That's all he is.
who
Yes,
is
a
there
listener.
to
Yes.
listen
That's all he
and
is.
Absolutely.
validate your feelings, and tell it's okay to feel angry when you are hurt.
But that's what a counselor just listens to you. And,
Yes.
And the crazy thing about it, you repair yourself.
Yes.
You do.
Yeah.
Because all he does is like listen, opens it up.
So you are paying the person to listen to you.
But you're repairing yourself.
Yes.
Yes.
And the problem now becomes, where are the listeners? Do we listen?
Yes.
And that's the thing, I agree with you. Do they listen? Because I remember when I was in my dark place, that I was talking to a friend, and I'll never forget. I'm trying to open up how I'm feeling for the first time, and they're on their phone. They're looking at the phone. They're not Googling, they're texting, doing whatever. To me, you have to really be real and listen. Put your mechanical devices down and really listen to that person. And if you feel that when you're speaking to them that it's out of your control to help them get help.
Yeah. So if you
Don't just
you
drop it.
cannot help them, don't hurt them.
Correct.
So send them to someone that can help them. So the first thing I want us to actually be on the same page today is that depression is real. You didn't cause depression. You didn't invite depression. Depression comes.
Right.
So when it comes, not just embracing it, admit it, and look for someone to talk to.
Correct.
Someone who have understanding, training in that area. Talk to that person.
I don't think you have to find someone trained. I just think in your moment of chaos, you just want a listening ear. Not someone that will side. Maybe the hook side is that you may want someone to side with you, but you just want to voice your. You just want to voice. It's just like I have a friend whose father died a couple of days ago, and she said to me that everybody came to pay condolence to her, but in the presence of them paying condolence to her, they're talking about their own personal problems.
Yes.
So did you come to pay condolence, or does misery seek company? You know what I'm saying? So it's a problem that when we're depressed, it doesn't mean that I want you to butt in. I just want to offload what I have on my chest to you, so you can listen. Maybe it doesn't make sense. Maybe I'm crying. Maybe I got all my eyeliner. I got my nose is running. I just want to offload that pressure.
So
And even-
okay, go ahead.
So even with when somebody comes to you and they want to talk to you, and maybe you are feeling also vulnerable within their moment, like you said, with the misery seeking misery. But if you can't, like Diana said, help them, don't hurt them. But at least
I actually said
and
it.
they're
That's
given
that's the wrong citation.
But you did.
Yeah.
Okay, Chuck
So,
did.
yeah.
So, no, you have that opportunity there. That's also a powerful moment, is to validate that person's feelings.
And you now know why.
Give that to them at least if you can't help them.
Yeah.
Right.
So that's why I talked about someone who is trained to hear. Because the truth is, our first natural instinct is to talk to brother, sister, uncle, aunt. And more often than never, they are the ones that don't understand what you're going through. So they either go the advising, they go to blaming, or they take the route of shutting you down. Shh, stop. It's on your head, it's on your mind, it's not real. And so that's where conflict comes, because we are talking to someone who doesn't understand what we're going through, doesn't understand the reality of what we're going through. Or so it could be so religious person, I'll tell you just pray about it, or pray about it, but he's not actually going to pray about nothing. He just
Right.
to keep you, silence you.
But the problem, the thing is that if we are circled, when we look at if the family is the nucleus, and a member of the pact of the family is having a problem, a depressive problem, if the person trusts the family pact, because the family pact is supposed to be everything, supposed to be your first line of defense, everything. If the family pact cannot give support, how do you expect the person to go and get support outside?
So I love the that line of argument. Yeah,
That's
family
very true.
should help, but the truth now is, what if there's no one in the family that knows how to help? Because the thing is, I had a story of a guy who was in a pit, and someone threw a rope for him and helped him come out. And there are like 10 other people in that pit, and the one that helped him asked him, please help them come out. And he was in a rush. He has to go see family. So he threw the rope in the pit, said, you guys help yourself. So he just gave them the advice and run away. They're not going to help themselves. So you need someone who understands that I have to hold the other part of the rope, and you hold the other part, and I help you out, and then I have to have more weight than you. If not, you're going to draw me down, you know. So help, looking for help, which everyone is looking for help, but then where are we looking for help? Are we looking for help from someone who can help us? And you see, that's another place where even counseling becomes a big, ethical concern, whereby you go to a counselor. Let's assume he's having marriage struggle, and you're telling him about your own marriage struggle. You know he's going to bring about his own, more likely to tell you, oh, what you're going through, don't worry about that, guys are bad, I'm going through the same.
But you know the fact, sorry to cut you short, but do you know why we recommend people? We recommend people because our basic lines of security has failed us.
Yeah.
Right? So if Diane recommends me to somebody, I'm going to take that. If I went to my sister and my sister says, oh, I don't know what's happening, but I have a friend that knows somebody, I recommend you to her. That cuts down me building up trust, because I've related, I can have a situation which I can relate. So the recommendations is necessary, in which even if the family are not known or anything, we can still give recommendations. You know, I may not know the answer. I admit I don't know the answer. However, I may have a solution.
Yes.
So thank God me and you are from African descent. But that's not the reality. The reality is, when you now meet your senior sister, she wants to play senior sister. She doesn't want to tell you, go to pay nobody or go to someone. She's going to give you advice based on her knowledge. She's going to tell you, okay, my brother, I'm going to help you. You know, are you having problem in business? Don't worry. You know, just take all the money and invest in this one. It's going to work. It worked for Uncle Tony. It's going to work for you. That's what she's going to do. She doesn't want to feel like, oh, I can't help you, or go and help someone. She's not going to do that. I don't know about your culture, but
I disagree. I disagree based on my own family. I can't disagree on based on everybody's, but I'll disagree on my own family, because we're knowledgeable people.
You're all educated, right?
All knowledgeable, but even that, there are things in which knowledge is not the prime. It's like when there's common sense take over knowledge. You know, like, listen, I don't know this, but you know what? Hey, I'll ask a question. It's just like when we were in Warden. When we all went to Warden, we didn't know it. We were novices in the beginning, but through people guiding us and asking questions, we found our way. And it's the same thing, you know. And this is with our relatives. I don't know it. Seriously, I don't know it. But you know what? I can ask a question. Oh, you know what? Let's go on the internet. We got a higher library. Or you know what? Hey, hold on. I think I know someone that has something similar. You know, it's wider than we have more information at our fingers than we believe.
Okay, so that's a wonderful conversation. You see, the time is actually almost out of our hand. Okay, but it's been wonderful having you guys in studio today. I know you were asking me how long is it going to take, and you didn't know it's already 4 o'clock actually. So they're asking us to leave, and that's how fast it goes. So I really want to give you guys 30 seconds to give a closing thoughts before we round up. So let's start from you. Yes.
I just want to thank you for inviting me here and meeting everyone. It was very nice.
Thank you.
I just want to say that reaching out to people that you don't even know, just smiling, just handshaking, just walking up, buying someone a cup of coffee in a Wawa, or, you know, some act of kindness really could go a long way for that person. You never know what someone's going through.
Thank you.
And I think being kind is the key to helping more people.
Yeah, and that reminds me, am I getting a Wawa card also? Please keep mine. Let's hear from you, Naomi.
Yeah, I want one too. So, yeah, I agree 100% with Diana. And it's one thing that I do every day. It's something that I actually put into my daily lifestyle practice is I say hi to everybody. I hold that door for the next person to come in. Even if they're 20 steps away from the door, I'm still going to stand there and wait and hold that door for that person to come in. But, you know, you say hi. It's those small, kind acts of kindness. And somebody, you know, wow, you noticed me.
Wow.
You know, that's very powerful to somebody else.
Wow.
So,
okay, so thank you guys. Thank you guys. It's been nice having you in the studio. I want to have Broby, actually, Dr. Obi, close us out in prayer. That would be a closing thought.
My pleasure. Yes. I just want to thank you, Lord, for these two great women that are with us today, man, because we've experienced things in which you've allowed us today to use as testimonies to help someone out there, Lord. May what we have said today reach somebody's heart. May it touch somebody's life. May somebody, through what we have said on this radio line, reach out to somebody. And may the person that is being reached out to have that listening ear. And may they know somebody that will help that person to come out of this epidemic. Father, we thank you. We thank you, Lord, because this forum has served your purpose and has done what you have devised it to do, to reach out and make a maximum impact within this society that we live in. Thank you, and may all the glory be yours through Jesus Christ our Lord.
Amen.
Amen.
Once more, I want to thank the management of Nonfiction Radio for having us again today. We're coming back again next week at 2 o'clock. Sorry, we started a bit late today. We're going to have a powerful time to talk about some other issues that are relevant in the society. We're going to keep our audience posted. Please, I want to thank also my family watching, and I want to thank my church family who is also supporting this. So when as Glorious Assembly, we're having a special service tomorrow at 9 o'clock. You're all invited. I want to thank my friends and my colleagues all the way from, you guys drove like 2 hours to be here, right?
2 hours for me.
Wow.
Yeah, 2 hours for Diana and then 2 hours for me to get to Diana.
Wow. That's very powerful. I really want to thank you guys for your graciousness, and I pray you guys have a safe flight or safe whatever.
Thank you.
And thanks, Diana.
Thank you.
And thanks, Noami. And I want to thank you. You can check that young man from over there for me.
Virtual high five.
Yeah, visual high five. So it's my pleasure having you guys, and I hope we have you more of you. Once more, everybody, thanks for listening, and have a wonderful day. Make maximum impact wherever you are, and God bless you.
Well, it's working. The speakers are working now.